What's going on, guys? Gaston right here, and I'm finally back from my trip to Switzerland in Paris, and I got to shoot with the Leica D-Lux 7. I actually made a review video in two parts, and there are a lot of comments there. So this video is going to be a follow-up to that video, and also to let you know that I am going to be providing you guys with raw files to actually inspect this camera for yourself, or at least the image quality from the DNG file. So hang on to me until the end of the video, and I will be revealing how you can actually download those DNG files. So when it comes to the guts of this cameras, you know, the internals, the sensor is gonna be exactly the same sensor, which is Micro Four Thirds sensor at 17 megapixels of resolution. And in my video, I actually said, you know, would it be nice if they would have upgraded the sensor, maybe put an APS-C sensor. But when you think about it, if they would have gone APS-C, this one would have to be a very large camera, specifically if it would have had a built-in lens. Now, this zoom lens that we have right here, which is an equivalent to 24 to 70 millimeters f1.7, it is actually a great choice. And this lens actually crops into the sensor, and it does crop because of size constraints. So imagine, you know, having an APS-C sensor in this camera, having a larger body and all of a sudden like a bigger camera, that wouldn't be a good call. So I think that Leica did the right thing, keeping the same sensor, which in my opinion, produces amazing image quality. Now let's talk about the megapixel, because yes, 17 megapixel sounds like low resolution, you know, in modern days talking, because we think that more is more. But when you think about it, you can actually print a 24 by 36 inches print with only 10 to 12 megapixels. So right over here, we don't have the need to crop in post because this camera has a zoom lens. So you can actually set your camera to the desired focal length, take a picture, and have plenty of resolution for your large print. It's gonna be more than enough, guys. So, you know, if you are wanting to get a camera that takes great pictures, I gotta say that this camera proves it, and I am very happy with the images that I got from there. And I'll tell you how you can get those DNG files in just a moment. Now let's talk about what's new in the camera, because while the sensor is the same, and I believe that also the processor is going to be the same, there's not information about the processor this camera uses. The one thing that I have to say is that the responsiveness of the camera is fast. It's really fast, you know, especially the things on the menu, everything happens really quick. You tap to focus and the camera does the job. The menu operates, there is no lag or anything like that. So in that sense, yes, this camera is gonna perform like modern Leicas, like a Q3. The menu is as fast, you know, touch, and it's pretty much the same interface if you ask me. Now, one of the main improvements that I like is the EBF. Now, instead of having an LCD display, we have the OLED displays that is really bright. And like I mentioned in the past video, I never had the need to crank the brightness, so I was always at the middle of the brightness just to also conserve battery life. And speaking about battery life, it gave me like about 3 hours of work having the camera on and off. So I think that's pretty good, and it's actually way better than any of the other options that we have out there in terms of battery life, such as, you know, the Ricoh GR3, which it doesn't last very long, the Fuji X100 V line, which doesn't last very long, and also the RX100 that uses, you know, the little tiny Sony batteries. But I think the main upgrade here, which is going to take some people, is going to be the new body. I have to say that it feels a lot better than the prior version. And one of the reasons why I actually sold my D-Lux 7 back then when I got it, when that camera was announced, I just didn't feel that the camera felt right in my hand. And now that I own the Leica Q3 and a couple of M11s, you know, this form factor feels right at home. So if you are trying to get this camera, you know, to supplement maybe your main shooter, which it could be a Leica Q3 or the Leica M11, I think that this camera is gonna feel a lot better in the hand. But the feature that I think it has to be in this camera in order to kind of like compete in this territory of Fuji and Ricoh is gonna be the Leica look. So the version that I tested did not have it. It's not a feature that I actually use on any of the Fuji cameras or Ricoh that I own, because I like to shoot in RAW and grade myself. But for those that are looking for the quick color, you know, grading in camera JPEG, most likely that's one of the reasons why Leica has postponed this launch. Now let's talk about video, because some of you guys commented about the video specs, and I have to say that I'm not impressed when it comes to video. It is 4K, probably 8-bit. The video was very jittery and it only has optical image stabilization, which it actually works great for photo, but it's not good enough for video. So a lot of people were asking me, would you recommend this camera? And I think there are gonna be 3 scenarios where I would say yes, no, and maybe. Scenario number 1, you don't own any camera and you want a camera that is going to do good at photo and good at video. The answer is going to be no, I wouldn't recommend this camera if that is the case. Scenario number 2, you already own a Leica, the main shooter, or you own any other camera as your main shooter, and you're looking for a secondary photographic camera. And I think that this one is gonna be a yes, and this is the reason why I am considering this camera. And it is also a camera that I would actually take as my only shooter in many situations. You know, I go out with a family and I just wanna capture some random images. Most likely this is the camera that I'm gonna bring with me. It is small enough and no problem. Would you recommend this camera for someone that is going to start photography? And it depends, you know. I think that if you are new into photography, one of the things that I always recommend is that you actually look into a camera that you can put a prime lens, you know, but that's just me. But if you're someone that wants, you know, to start photography and you want flexibility, you don't want to invest in lenses, you just want something to take decent pictures, I'm also gonna say that yes, this camera is going to take great images. And I want to debunk the last question. Is this a Mini Q3? And the answer is going to be, this is not a Mini Q3. This is not the camera that's gonna make it happen. So maybe save a little bit more and look into the used market, because a Leica Q these days, still a great camera. Not even the Q2, a Leica Q. I am going to tell you how now you can access, you know, the DNG files. So what you're gonna do is go to my Instagram at Gaston Shutters, and link in the bio, you are gonna see the link right there. You know, just click on the link, and then there are gonna be a sequence of links that's gonna, one, take you to the YouTube channel, another one to download my free preset pack, and I am going to be listing the link to the D-Lux 7 DNG files so you can actually explore them from yourself. So to sum it up, the image quality of this camera is good. It's on par with the D-Lux 7, which had a great image quality. It's not like a Q3. There are going to be some new innovations in this camera. And last but not least, subscribe to this channel if you like this video, give it a like, and until then, I'll see you in the next one.